I've been wanting to film this video for a little while because I need to talk about the fictional characters that feel like family to me. Like, if you're anything like me, then you're very much a character-based person. Like, whenever you're watching a movie or a TV show or reading a book, you just attach yourself to the characters and you care more about the characters than the plot. And I am very much that person. Like, I love discovering new characters that just feel so comforting and feel like they're like my best friends and they're like my family to me. So these are all of my fictional characters from books and TV shows that just feel like they're my best friends, and I love all of these characters so much, so I need to talk about them. The characters that started it all, the crows from the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. I cannot put into words how much I love all of these characters. Like, they're such a fun group of just dysfunctional, chaotic characters, and their banter with each other and their relationship with each other is just so sweet. And all of the little ships like Jesper and Violen, Matthias and Nina, and then Cass and Inej. Like, Cass and Inej, no one is doing it like them. Like, they're at the top of the fictional couples list for me because they just so good. Like, Cass cares so much about Inej. Like, if you've read the books, then you know that Cass and Inej are just like, they're that couple. Like, I honestly just can't put into words how much these characters mean to me. Like, they are the first group of characters that I ever fell in love with when I read the books back in high school, and to this day, just seeing any quotes or like fan art or now stuff from the TV show, just seeing anything relating to these characters just makes my heart so happy. Like, I love these characters so much, and they're always going to hold such a special place in my heart. Like, I love them so much. Next up is Percy, Annabeth, and Grover from the Percy Jackson series. I love the Percy Jackson series so much. Like, I read it for the first time back in 2020, I think, and I just fell in love with those books and those characters. And Percy and Annabeth are just another one of like the it book couples. Like, Katniss and Perkabeth are like up there for me with just fictional couples that are just so good. And Grover and just that little trio, I just love them so much, and all of the adventures that they go on and their antics and their banter. Like, they're just the best characters ever. Like, Percy Jackson is the best protagonist ever to be written because he's just so funny and just so good. Like, I love them so much. I cannot wait for the TV show to come out because it's just gonna be so good. Like, we're gonna be seeing Percy and Annabeth and Grover on screen, and they all look so good and so perfect, and I love them so much. Like, just the best characters to ever exist. Peeta and Katniss from the Hunger Games trilogy. Again, another incredible fictional couple. Like, no one is doing it like them. Like, I'm gonna be saying that for every single one of these couples, or like just characters in general, but no one is doing it like them. Like, just so good, especially in the movies. The movies are like some of my favorite things to rewatch, especially the first two, but specifically the second one. The second one's just so good, and just the way that the relationship develops from Katniss like not really caring about him that much to like just really wanting to protect him, and then same with Peeta. Like, they are the blueprint for YA couples. Dex and Mosscap from the Monk and Robot duology by Becky Chambers are the most wholesome characters that I have ever read because they just have such a sweet and pure bond with each other, and just the way that they want to help each other figure out what they want to do with their lives is just so sweet and wholesome, and just everything that they do throughout these 2 books is just so fun and so just wholesome and comforting to read about, and the way that they really care about each other and they validate each other in their feelings. It's just so sweet. Like these characters mean so much to me. Like when I read the books back in October, I think, I was like, they're just so sweet and pure and wholesome, and I just love them so much. Like they are some of my new favorite fictional characters. They just mean so much to me, and everyone needs to read this duology because it is just so good and so wholesome and comforting and validating. The Heartstopper little group of characters also are just the best characters to ever exist. Like Nick and Charlie and Tara and Darcy and Tao and Elle and Aled and Tori, like all of them are just so fun and so sweet. I just love this group of characters and seeing their relationships developing throughout the series and seeing them grow through rough times but then coming out of them at the end because they have such a strong support system around them. It's just so nice to see, and I love all of these characters so much. Like when I first read those graphic novels back in 2020, I think, I just love these characters so much. Like they just have the most wholesome bond with each other, and it's just so sweet. Like I love these characters so much, and in the adaptation they're just even better. Like the adaptation is so good and so true to who they are as characters, and I love them so much. My newest and current and ongoing obsession are the characters from Yona of the Dawn. I am never gonna stop talking about this series because I just love this series so much, and all of the characters are just so good. Like Yona and Hawk and Yun and the 4 dragons is just like the epitome of a found family, and just their relationship with each other is just so funny and so chaotic, and they're going on so many adventures, and just the way that they care about each other and protect each other is just so good and so funny, and their banter is just so funny. Like whenever I'm reading a volume, there's always moments where I'm laughing out loud because they're just so funny and so ridiculous, and just just the best characters that I have ever read because they're so good. Like if you want a series that has found family and a slow burn childhood friends to lovers princess bodyguard romance, like this is the series for you because it is just so good. And just the slow burn relationship between Hawk and Yona is just so good. Like it's just the slowest slow burn, and just their little interactions here and there are just so good and so satisfying, and it's just the best series ever created. And I wish there was a second season of the anime, but I'm just gonna try to forget the fact that it was canceled. But I just love these characters so much, and whenever I pick up a new volume I just fall in love even more with these characters. They just have like the best bond, and they are just so good. Like I love them so much. Like I cannot put into words how much I love this series and all of these characters. Like those characters are my best friends, they are my family, they mean everything to me. I just love them so much. The Forger family from Spy Family, we have Yor, who is an assassin, Lloyd, who's a spy, and Anya, who's a telepath, and then we have Bond, who can kind of like see the future, and they're just the most wholesome group of characters as well. Like all of these characters are just so wholesome, and their little found family dynamic is so sweet, seeing how they at first are kind of like iffy towards each other, but then they slowly start to care more about each other, and especially Lloyd. Like you can see his characters slowly start to care more and more about Yor and Anya, and it's just so sweet. So nice seeing Lloyd go from someone who's just dead set on focusing on this mission to someone who is creating a true bond and connection with the rest of his family. Like, he just cares about them so much, and it's just so nice seeing that development. And they just have the best banter with each other, and no one knows who the other person is, so there's that kind of like secret identity thing, but Anya knows who they truly are because she can read minds, but they don't know that she can read minds. And it just creates such a fun and interesting dynamic. So now we're gonna move on to the 2 TV show groups of characters that I want to talk about, because these characters make up my entire personality and make up my entire brain chemistry, because I just love them so much. So first up, we have the gang from Avatar: The Last Airbender. The best TV show ever created, if I'm being honest. Like, it's just so good. I cannot like describe how much I love this series and all of these characters, like Katara and Sokka and Aang and Suki and Zuko and Toph, and then Appa and Momo. Like, just the best characters ever created. And especially Zuko, like his development throughout the show is just so good. And Katara is such a badass, Toph is such a badass, Sokka is such a silly little guy, but he's also a little bit of a badass. And then Aang, just like so good. I just love this series so much. Like, I've rewatched this show beginning to end like 5 times. Like, it is just a comfort show for me, and just comfort characters for me in general, because they just have such a sweet bond, and their dynamic and their banter is just so funny. I honestly just can't put into words how much I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, it's just such a good show, and these characters are the best people that I know. Like, they are literally my best friends, and I will protect them with my entire being, because they just mean so much to me, and I just am obsessed with them. And then last up, we have the cast of New Girl. Again, another show that I have rewatched beginning to end so many times. Like, I can probably recite some of these episodes at this point, because I just watch them so often. Like, it's another comfort show for me. If you couldn't tell throughout this video, there is a common theme of just, I love groups of characters that have such a sweet bond with each other, and the cast of New Girl is another one of those groups of characters. Like, Nick and Jess, their relationship, Schmidt and Cece, and then Winston, and like just the main cast of characters. I just love them so much. Like, they just have such a fun dynamic, and their banter, and just literally every single episode is so funny, because these characters are just like so nonsensical in the best way ever. Like, they're just the best characters that I know. And then also, like, some of the side characters, I also really enjoy them, but like the main group, the main cast, I just love them so much. And I just love that show in general. Like, it's such a feel-good, heartwarming, comforting show for me. Like, if I'm ever in a bad mood, I will just put on either Avatar: Last Airbender or New Girl and just forget about all my problems. It's just one of those shows that's just so comforting for me. Like, I just love that show so much. So those are all my favorite fictional characters, the ones that feel like family to me, the ones that I would literally protect with my entire life. Like, I love all of these characters so much. If you couldn't tell, I can't put into words how much I love these characters, because like my brain just short circuits whenever I think about them, because I just love them so much. But they mean so much to me. These characters are just so comforting to me, and I just love them so much. Like, they mean so much to me. Like, whenever I'm reading these books or watching these shows with these characters, like, I just feel so happy and comforted, and it's just always such a good time when I am reading about these characters. Like, I just love them so much. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite fictional characters are, the ones that feel like family to you, the ones that are your best friends that you would do anything for. Let me know down below. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.